Oh, hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the Anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for the last 11 months and counting, because the daily stream streak must remain strong, I'm here to open my doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next 90 minutes to discuss our general Q&A. But before we get to our general Q&A, we have to do a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, if you saw today's short being the one regarding, what was it? The SCP Foundation during the Men in Black. I just want to point out, make sure you listen to that just to get another taste of the sweet experimental jazz hop vibes of our background music provider, Billith, in their programming, or their experimental music program, Slowgramming. Slowgramming, which features many SCP Foundation-inspired tracks, as Billith is a fellow SCP author as well. So check out Slowgramming, who does the music for us, at the YouTube channel, SoundCloud, or Spotify for Slowgramming. Thank you, Billith, for supporting the channel by letting us use your music. Also, let me say hello to Dr. Optimus. Congratulations on being the #1 member of our Containment Hazard Assessment team when it comes to punctuality today. I.e., congratulations on being first chatter. Meanwhile, Kilber, Amber, Senior Researcher Alex, Froy, Foxpax & Co., Dr. Vera Lovelace, Silent Follower, Meowlog, Puppet Boy, Haoki, Blue Phantom. Everyone who I have just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here as members of Site 42 on YouTube. We appreciate your membership and your service. Meanwhile, Plush Gorilla, Zapalm Plays, Jonathan Valdez, Water Slasher Belike, and Dovey Videos. Welcome to today's stream. Thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here today just for being you. Furthermore, I did see a lot of people asking as I started the chat. Just to be clear, yes, for those of you who are asking, it is I, Floating Hand Spider Guy. I guess that will be my legacy on YouTube, even more than the SCP Foundation, is the super cool petting zoo featuring the Floating Hand Spider. Yes, it is I, that guy. How do you do? Now, today's stream is going to be sponsored, and it's sponsored by two entities. Number one It is sponsored by, whoop, wait a minute. Pulling it up now. And it's gone. Everything's ruined. I love my janky terminal. If operations could get me a new terminal, please, it would be very helpful for what I am doing here. Today, we are sponsored, number one, by the Site 42 section of the scpstore.org. The SCP Store has merch for several of us SCP content creators. That includes our newly released Reservoir Docs t-shirt, featuring beautiful art of Drs. Clef, Crow, Sherman, Sumerian, Kondraki, and Weddle for your general comfort and fashion needs. Enjoy some SCP doctors looking shifty on your shirt. Link is in the Site 42 support beacon, which is beacons.ai/Site42. If you purchase merch to support the channel, we appreciate it greatly. Furthermore, we are sponsored, and by sponsored I mean helping out with, SCP Gallionic, which just jumped up a little more of a donation in front of my very eyes. It is now at $2.85. They have almost got their 250 euros to get their full soundtrack stretch goal. 60 hours left, less than 3 days to support and share SCP Gallionic, i.e. SCP the Anime. One anime quality, Jujutsu Kaisen anime quality, SCP Foundation anime short. Do what you can. Mobile Task Force Psi-42 codename Signal Boosters. Let's keep them trucking. We are in the last 60 hours. Thank you for supporting it thus far, but that doesn't mean we stop, people. That means we keep fighting, we keep fighting. Interns April, Georgina, Crazy, voice actor, and Maddie. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Last of all, I have two small things to talk to you about. Hold on. As I was saying, first and foremost, Marshall Carter and Dark, please do not offer your auctioneering services to SCP Foundation staff members. You know that's against the rules. You know that SCP Foundation members would never steal and sell anomalies for profit. It is against the Foundation ethos. It is bad. So do not do that. Now, as I was saying, okay, desk, now I know what you're talking about. Thank you for pointing that out. Secondarily, for those of you who want very high-quality SCP things, but you can't quite get them yet because we are still working our way to high-quality SCP animations, feature films, games, and the like, sometimes I just make it my business to tell you guys about some other media I'm enjoying right now that you guys might want to check out as SCP fans, because, hey, if you're hanging out on my channel, maybe you want to see the things I see. These are not sponsored. This is just me saying, hey, I'm enjoying this thing, maybe you'll like it. You guys watching Invincible? Invincible Season 4 just kicked up, I found out. Pretty good so far. Now, the problem I have with Invincible is not with the animation quality itself. It's that they made the joke about how they save money on animation by doing certain tricks, like covering mouths, that way they don't have to animate them while they're talking. And now I can't see anything else. You can see when they're doing something to pivot so they don't have to animate something complicated. The latest episode just had Invincible toss a guy in the air so that the guy was safe from the fight, and then do the whole fight off screen with sound effects. I see you. I see what you're doing to cheapen the budget. And I only want to point this out because SCP animators, take notes. This is what you can do to, yes, Dr. Frogman, yes, animation requires effort. Oh, no, effort, not effort. Oh, no. So, You can use these tricks to your advantage to hide the seams while we're getting up to the high quality SCP, the anime tier, like SoM Studios. We need small animators to get good, to grow up to big animators. So take notes. Furthermore, for those of you who like horror comedies, this past weekend a movie dropped, Ready or Not 2. I have not seen Ready or Not in years, and so I rewatched it to get ready to see the sequel, because I remember liking the original movie. Ooh, if you like horror movies and you like ridiculously violent comedies, that movie's pretty funny. In that dark, oh my god, I can't believe they just did that with a crossbow kind of way. And so if you're itching for some feature film goodness in the dark, supernatural, rich people be crazy, eat the rich genre, I'm going to go see that second movie later. But I watched the first one again. The first one's still good. And finally, the main event, our mainstream subject for the day. So we're going viral on Twitter again. But it's not bad this time. It's not bad this time. Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what's going on the internet today. So one of those big meme accounts that spends their time posting so they can get engagement and get money, they posted SCP-173, the very first entry posted on 4chan's X board in June 2007, originally used a photograph of the sculpture Untitled 2004 by Japanese artist Izumi Kato. Now, that is just a single fact of a thing that, if you're an SCP fan, you knew this. But of course, if you post something simple and easy to understand on the internet, it will get engagement. And so I just felt the need to point out, yes, it is actually incredibly kind that Izumi Kato let us use that photo non-commercially as long as he did. Because if some 4chan rando took my heartfelt piece of art and turned it into a murder statue what poops a lot, I would be more than a little annoyed. And so there are plenty of people who don't actually know the backstory of this photo to this day. As a quick primer. So what had happened was, everyone on 4chan liked writing those creepypastas back in the day. And in 2007, user Modo42 wrote the SCP-173 document, the original document that is still on the wiki to this day, but it started on 4chan. And that 4chan post was the same text, but it was 4chan, so it was green text. And then the photo. And the idea here, for Kato-san, is that eventually Izumi Kato caught on to what was going on. And if you've seen other works from Izumi Kato, you would notice that SCP-173 is not the only, or I'm going to call it Untitled 2004, because that's its actual name. The statue's name is Untitled 2004. Izumi Kato's work besides, let me see, sculptures. So if you go into the works of Izumi Kato outside of 173 itself, Untitled 2004, you get all sorts of interesting photos, of interesting sculptures, with this same kind of theme. There is something Kato finds very fascinating about this particular art style. Now, I have not done enough research into Untitled 2004 and its brethren to understand what the deal is here. Perhaps this is your inspiration to go look into the works of Izumi Kato and see what else they have made. Yes, they are very good works. Agent Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie. Listen, if I don't let Charlie say hello to you guys, then she's going to be sad the whole time. Come here, baby girl. Are you happy? You happy, Puppy of 42, Agent Charlie, Puppy of Interest? Yes. Yes, very happy to be held now. Do you just want to sit in the lap for a bit? If I sit in lap, will you not bork at me? Here's the treat from the chat. You know you get treats when the chat wants you to have treats. All right, will you hang out here? You just want to chill for a bit? If you want to chill, you can chill. I do need to wipe my hand, though, because you make me sneezy. And I'm just starting stream. I can't be sneezy for the whole stream. Okay. So, as I was saying in the stream subject, when you Where was I? I got distracted by dog. Now I'm completely brain dead. Where am I? Where is my mind? Izumi Kato. Ah, yes. So, once Izumi Kato caught wind of what was going on, because SCP became not just one little creepypasta that no one would know about, it became a legitimate intellectual property on the internet. You want down now? You want down now when I'm trying to talkify here? You can run. Or do you want to sit under my foot? You have options, baby girl. So, when Wiki staff from the beginning early Wiki talked to Izumi Kato about, oh my gosh, yes, this blew up way bigger than we thought it did. If we knew it was going to blow up this big, we probably wouldn't have stolen your art. Because that's the thing. Consider, if you're just making shit posts on the internet, you're not really worried about copyright. You're not making a lot of money on it. But you got to be careful. Because if you do use someone else's art without permission, you could get yourself in a lot of trouble if it blows up. Or, at the very least, you can end up making a lot of money for someone who's not you, which is not bad, but it might frustrate you if you're like, hey, I made this, but I didn't make that, but now that's all there. So, Kato gave us a blanket permission that, okay, listen, I don't really like the fact that you took my piece of art and characterized it as a poopy statue that wants to kill you. I don't like that you've made my art a murderer. Which, you know, fair. Fair. If someone took something that I crafted very seriously, had emotional investment in, and then turned it into a poopy statue that kills you, I would probably not be very happy. But Kato still said, okay, listen, as long as you don't monetize my sculpture, my photo, then you can keep using it. And you know what? That was saintly. Honestly, sheesh. Especially because the one problem with the SCP Wiki after they got this permission is they also went Creative Commons. And so for years, everything on the Wiki was Creative Commons, except for the stuff that wasn't. Because there was not just Untitled 2004, there was a bunch of other stolen artwork on the Wiki. And if you use those things when you're not supposed to, legal trouble ensues. Now, I will give you this. Let's say for the sake of argument, you use something that you thought was Creative Commons, and then you find out it wasn't. There is a legal grace period for, hey, my bad, I didn't know. And so the people who used it, if they cease and desisted, they would not get in trouble. But the problem is, Wiki staff could not keep up with the cease and desist they had to send out because so many people were monetizing the peanut when they weren't supposed to. Untitled 2004, we were allowed to use it as long as we didn't monetize it. But so many people started using it for plushies, for t-shirts, for everything. You weren't supposed to do that. And that's why eventually Wiki staff made the call to clear the Wiki of copyrighted works that don't fit the Creative Commons 3.0 share-alike license that the SCP community uses, And that's why the photo eventually got taken down. Now, Moto42 came back and said, hey, by the way, don't replace the photo. Leave it blank. That way people can come up with their own statues. Very fun for the imagination. Very good idea, Moto42, I agree. Also, good number in your name. Just saying. But suffice it to say, now that it's all said and done, the big deal is, thank you, Kato, and we promise not to bother you anymore. There was a long time where on the wiki there was a section that said, please do not reach out to Azumi Kato with anything regarding SCP. Because we're already very thankful for the polite, kind permission he granted us in the interim. Don't bug him. Don't ask for permission to use the statue for an SCP movie or something. Just don't. Leave the guy alone. We've done enough. I see a donation that is on this line of thinking, so I'm going to go to that to use it as a subject part. Vera Lovelace, yes. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a Twinkie Wiener sandwich on your way past the commissary. Fun fact, it was a similar story with SCP-1471. The photo used for Mallow was of a high-end fursuit, which was initially used without permission. You are correct. Mallow was also among the copyrighted photos that were not supposed to be used. Desk has shared me a discussion page. Desk, where is this, what the hell is this, Desk? What have you shared for me? It seems related. 9371. 9371-ARC. Codename Nahum 3:6. I don't know what this is. Untitled 2004 is a sculpture created by Azumi Kato. Untitled 2004 is one of many paintings and sculptures created by him, all showing a vulnerable element, such as including sexual organs. Oh, yes. If you look at the 173 photo from another angle, the peanuts packin', let's just say. Untitled 2004, regardless of the exhibit is put into, is always huddling away in a corner. It never tries to be the main event. Typically, his other work is what people look at. 2004 doesn't even have a name, so it's best if people give it space. SCP-173 was posted on 4chan on June 22nd, 2007. Accompanied with it was an image of Untitled 2004. It was simple, a statue that moved when you weren't looking, and defecated blood on the floor and walls. It was gross. It was interesting. I think you know what happened from there. 173 became a spectacle. It turned into something that was meant to be seen, something meant for people to look at, until the image was eventually removed. Many people are unable to name the original artist of Untitled 2004 for that very reason. Discussions around his work typically devolve into people calling it peanut or poop statue. When was the last time you thought of the artistic purpose of Untitled 2004? And so, Trout Mask Replica, who wrote that text I just read out in the discussion for SCP-9371, I enjoy the artistry there involved. I did not know that that was a thing. It was literally created to huddle away in the corner of the exhibit and not be the main event. 173 is shy, and we shoved it in front of everybody's face. I wonder why it started snapping necks. Did you ever think about what 173 wanted? I'm sorry, Untitled 2004? Did you ever think about what Untitled 2004 wanted? I'm sorry. Once again, Untitled 2004 did not start snapping necks. Because again, we are not attributing violent intent to Azumi Kato's initial work. That is not what we are doing here. I take it back. My bad. Do, 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 do. And two more things on the subject before I stop and run into the general Q&A. First, in talking to Twitter folk, about the statue, educating on this little tweet so people know what's going on. Let's see. That one's not important. That one's not important. I already mentioned that. Yes, the last thing I want to talk about is how not to respond to a situation like this in the future. Just for all of us to be better people in the long run. A person in the replies to me says, well, I would be honored. Art is subjective after all. When talking about how Kato did not like the situation. Oh, well, I would be honored. Art is subjective after all. I wouldn't care if they interpret it as a poopy murder statue. Not like the 4chan poster acted like it was their sculpture. By the way, do not harass this person. Do not dunk on them. I already politely corrected them. I'm just being a little grumpy. Because there is a hello again, little girl. The reason I bring up this response is because, remember, we're all entitled to our own feelings on this. Yes, person on Twitter, you might be just fine with your art being completely misinterpreted by someone else in a manner that's no bueno to what you initially meant. But that doesn't mean that the artist has to feel the same way you do. And if I'm supposed to respect your feelings as an artist when it comes to your artistic integrity and intent, and also your copyright, then you also need to respect the artistic integrity and wants and wishes and feelings of the artists we're talking about here. Don't be like, well, I would have liked it. Yeah, well, it's not your art. Make some art and then see how you feel when you make it. And if you still do, good for you, but you can't besmirch people who don't. Okay, people are entitled to their feelings, right? Right? Also, while the 4chan poster, Moto42, did not pretend to own the statue, they really did cause a lot of copyright infringement of Izumi Kato's work. And legally, that's a really sticky place. So even if you didn't pretend it was yours, you did cause some heavy-duty copyright infringement that would not have happened without that. So at the end of the day, it is wild to think that you're an artist, you're making things in the world, you're putting your heart and soul into the works, and then someone on the other side of the ocean finds a photo, makes a random creepypasta out of it, and now years later, this alternate interpretation of your work and your art piece probably has more fans than the entire compendium of your work. Because Izumi Kato is a great artist with a lot of exhibits, but SCP is kind of huge, with millions of active fans. I could see conflicted feelings about, wow, my art inspired all of that, but in a really weird way that I don't entirely agree with, but it's still cool. And there's people making movies and games and fan fiction, and they are enjoying this artistic community for a living based off of my work completely unrelated. What a weird place that's got to put you in. And especially because of all the people who are making that money off of inspired by your work, you are not seeing a cent of it. Because no, Izumi Kato is not getting paid for SCP. So that's got to bite a little bit. Look what your work has wrought, but you're not seeing a cent of it. So yes, let's all bask in the conflicting feelings I'm sure everyone must have about this scenario. And let us all be very thankful for Izumi Kato for his intense generosity at letting that creepypasta slide. I'm very thankful because I would not be here doing this if SCP didn't exist. and if his Mikato was not so chill as to let it keep going. All right, that is my stream subject. All hail Saint Kato. Let me come over to the chat, take a look at the donations that came in while I was doing the intro, and then we'll move on to general Q&A for the next 1 hour we have remaining in stream. Closing the tab. Checking notifications here, refreshing the chat so I can see the donations. Boom. Puppet Boy, thank you for your 8 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. And hey, I believe it's been a minute since we last saw you, so I hope you've been doing well. Have you seen the yellow sign? Well, every time I'm driving, I see multiple yellow signs. What are you talking about? Intern Bubba, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Level 1 researcher Clover, thank you for thank you for your 6 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. 100 stars, thank you for sending sparkles to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they feel very, very glittery on your way past the commissary. Shadow Spiriting, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a chili dog on your way past the commissary. Someone should take all controversies and legal troubles the SCP Wiki has had and make them into a tale. That way we can claim they are all fiction. Oh, if only that's how it worked. But also, you shouldn't talk about your legal troubles without a lawyer present, so maybe even a worse idea. Dr. Lovelace, thank you for donating again to say. Turns out SCP-173 was the real Shy Guy all along. Ooh, ooh. You know, I see it. I see it. Untitled 2004 was the real Shy Guy all along. Hold on a second. I see... Where did you go? I saw you. Charger. Yes, we talked about a 914 test yesterday. Desk, I believe you sent me the wrong one. You sent me 1337. I believe the test we were looking for was 1347. And I had to rush yesterday I had to rush to my nap because I was feeling like such garbage. By the way, thank you to everybody who checked in on me at the start of stream today. I am feeling better. I got some good sleep. Finally. I've not been getting a good night's sleep the last few nights. For too much information for the life of a site director. Sometimes when you're running from task to task, you chug a meal replacement shake. And you're like, okay, well, I don't have time to eat, so I'm going to do this, glug, 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 glug. And I wasn't sick, but I just chugged it too fast. And it made me hurl. And my throat has been sore since. And so I couldn't sleep for several days fully, because every time I swallowed, it woke me up. And so, I'm not sick per se, but I have been in pain and unable to sleep well. I'm starting to sleep better and feel better after a couple of days. So that is where I was, and mostly last night I got a full night's sleep. I think tonight, one more good night's sleep will put me back in the green. Now, I was going to the testing log for catching up on what Charger said. No, Desk, I do not require seppuku at this time, nor Deskoku. But I am going to 1347, as Charger was talking about. And at 1347, we tested a laptop in 914. That's what we were talking about, is seeing what would happen if you put a laptop in there. Now, I don't remember exactly what Charger was asking about being on the laptop, but let's see what's on the test here. One laptop containing various popular video games. Note, we've seen 914 play chess and various card games. I think it's about time for us to check if it understands video games. I'll run a screen recording program, but judging from previous tests, 914 will likely mess with it. Signed, Dr. Meyer. So, one laptop with Minecraft opened. A basic creative world has been set up. On the setting, fine. Output. The same laptop as the input, unchanged. Within the save, a functional model of SCP-914 has been constructed. It shares the same anomalous qualities as the real 914 and seems to follow the same rules and limitations. A testing log has been added below. So they put iron ingots, lapis lazuli, coal, cow, and other things into the Minecraft version of 914, and it did do 914 things. We put Stellaris into the 914 laptop this time, and it played Stellaris to a finished game. The player empire rules the entire galaxy and appears in an authoritarian dictatorship where robots are the ruling class and other biological species function as slaves. Notably, one species has been confined to multiple planets, which seem to function as work or concentration camps. So, note from Dr. Meyer, did it really just do that? Did 914 really create an empire of robot space Nazis? So some of you have been wanting to do things with 914. It's a dangerous anomaly. Let's not get willy-nilly with this thing. If it gets what it wants, yeesh. Damn Mechanites is right, Dr. Frogman. And then one laptop with Dark Souls opened. On fine, the laptop flung out of the output chamber at high speed. Laptop was completely destroyed upon impact with the testing chamber's wall. Note, seems like this is too much for 914. I guess we'll have to end this test early. Signed, Dr. Meyer. Note, entirely relatable 914. Don't tell Meyer that I modded it. So, junior researcher Kai, you gave 914 a modded Dark Souls? Rude. Rude. The question was, if we put a laptop in 914 with the only tab being the Creepypasta wiki, what would happen? So, based on this, I am suggesting that 914 would write some fire creepypasta regarding some sort of robot killer. As in a killer robot. Not a robot, not something that kills. Although, it is a robot, so maybe the creepypasta would be about something that kills robots. Because that's what 914 would be afraid of, you know. Yeah, I can see that. Also, speaking of creepypasta, before I get back to the donos and catch up, I just wanted to get this question done since we discussed it yesterday and I didn't have an answer. I would like to introduce you, if you're unfamiliar, with a group of interest and a section on the wiki that I am a big fan of, called the Parawatch Wiki. If you are unfamiliar, the Parawatch Wiki is a list of essentially creepypastas written by SCP authors. Essentially, the Parawatch Wiki is in-universe. It is a message board where people go to share supernatural things they have seen or heard about to see if anyone else knows what's going on. And so if you go to a Parawatch Wiki story, you're going to see... Wait, why is Hog Slice Parawatch Wiki? Hog Slice is Parawatch Wiki. I forgot about that. I forgot that... And now he's in an argument with Muppets on Muppet Central. Of course he is. It is. Hog Slice is an it. Don't get distracted by its handsome mug. Oh, we're doing some sick fire spinning. I approve. Hog Slice is on Parawatch now for Aoki. Hog Slice. You don't know what Hog Slice is. Welcome to SCP-6599. Codename Hog Slice. Hog Slice is an anomalous internet troll. If you're on a message board and a user called Hog Slice gets in an argument with you, don't argue with it. Because if you make Hog Slice angry enough, Hog Slice will teleport to your location and beat the shit out of you. Hog Slice beat the shit out of someone over an internet argument about the Muppets. Someday I'll find it, a reason to give a shit about Hanson, the Muppets, and you. Also, Hog Slice did that song with a banjo. And so, Hog Slice, known Muppet hater, also can play the banjo. So, going back down this rabbit hole, Hog Slice is one of many anomalies spoken about / listed on the Parawatch Wiki. The Parawatch Wiki, out of universe, is an excuse for SCP authors to write old school creepypastas, using the old school creepypasta prose style of, hey guys, this is a true story that I heard about from a friend's cousin in the Navy whose superior officer sister told him about it. And so you can find some very interesting stories, if that is your vibe, on the Parawatch Wiki. Some of my favorites, at least from 2020, I recorded on this channel for your listening pleasure. So if you want to go to the Parawatch Wiki playlist on here, you can hear me recite some of those stories, and you can use that as a jumping off point to go to your own that you want to read. Where did the nickname Radical Larry come from? I always thought it was Markiplier, but I don't actually know the source. Let me see if I can find it real quick with a cursory search. Radical Larry. 8 years ago, Reddit post. Where does 106's nickname Radical Larry come from? And so, there is a 4chan meme from back in the day called Family Portrait. And Family Portrait has these strange titles for everyone involved. Number 1 is Troubles, Master Assassin and Professional Thief, never turn your back on him. Number 2, Dirk, Iron Jaw and the fastest hands on the planet, he will fuck you up. But the last one here is Radical Larry. This guy is all business all the time, vibrates through walls, can burrow underground. And, as you know, SCP-106 also burrows through walls. So, it very much seems to be, at least from here, that is the source people are quoting from. If I recall, Markiplier picked up the name from a piece of in-game flavor text, so he is in the origin. Good to know. So yes, that meme image on 4chan is about as close as we've got to an answer, at least today. If you want to go searching some more, that's between you and your internet search history. Blue Phantom, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a slice of lemon cake on your way past the commissary. What SCP channels do you recommend to listen to while working? Also, I summon the puppy of interest 42 Charlie. Well, we'll see if she heard me. But in the meantime, although we've been here for a while, so maybe it already worked on a previous Puppy of Interest meeting. So it depends on what kind of SCP channel are you looking for. Now, I can't personally recommend the Content Farm channels because I don't really approve of their work overall. So that leaves out the Rubber and Detective Void. Dr. Bob and SCP Explained aren't as bad, but I don't find them interesting, but maybe you do. They're not as bad as Rubber and Detective Void, that's for sure. Are you looking for explanations about SCP concepts? Are you looking for readings of SCPs? Adaptations, you could go to Andrea Joshua Asnikar, Dark Math Films, Keter Labs for their live-action adaptations. But those are more like things you gotta watch. While you're working, I assume you want something you can listen to. Dr. Frogman's suggestion of the Exploring series is not a bad one, because I don't think Exploring series does word for word, if I remember readings, but very in-depth summaries. You'll have to remind me, I haven't listened to Exploring series in a while. Does Exploring series recite them word for word, or do more of a summary scenario? Either way, Exploring series has rather long videos, and Mang, the creator, is pretty cool. So I can, in good conscience, suggest them. Silver the Silly One is correct. The Volgan, obviously, the OG of the SCP community. Great visual quality, and also voice like butter. SCP Archives is goated, says Ratty Woman. I would go for that. SCP Archives, I think, is pretty good. You can always trust Radiger. Now, that's going to get you a combination of video essays and other memes, but they're damn good video essays and memes about the SCP community. Marshall Carter and Dark, SCP Wyatt is good for streaming content. When it comes to playing Containment Breach, that's really his bread and butter. And so if you like listening to people stream and play games and make jokes, then that's the way to do that. I think that's a pretty good listing for now. Tiger Claws, thank you for sending a 100 to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. Puppet Boy, thank you for sending sparkles to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure it will make them more fabulous. Dr. Rock, thank you for sending sunshine and a happy poop to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure that they will appreciate the smell with the bright, shiny sunshine on their face, or something like that. Dr. Frogman, your suggestion of David Morris from YouTube, the one with the 5999 video. Is that really his name? Is that... I don't think it's David Morris. I think it's Davis, maybe? I'm subscribed to the guy. I can go in here and check for this alphabetation to the D's. To the D's, to the D's, to the D's. Davis Morgan. The YouTube channel Davis Morgan. Now, Davis Morgan covers a lot of different kinds of literature. And one of those kinds is creepypasta, and one of the subsections of creepypasta is SCP. So, you can check out Davis Morgan for breakdowns of creepypasta, two-sentence horror stories, as well as SCPs of a rarer variety. Skywarp, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a bagel dog on your way past the commissary. Hi, I have a milkshake and some extra days off. Ooh, I could use it, but the daily stream streak must remain strong. April 14th is our 1-year anniversary. We're getting close. Cool show. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a Chicago dog on your way past the commissary. I have a question for Site42. If the SCP Foundation was in the FNAF universe, how would you contain all the possessed animatronics? Well, I do have on this channel, I believe, videos for both FNAF 1 and FNAF 2. But at the very least, for the games, the animatronics don't leave the restaurants, which makes them very easy to contain. Now, the second FNAF movie has fucked that up for all of us. It was so easy to contain them when they were locked down. But now that they can leave, whole different scenario. But, you know, they don't seem exceptionally agile. It's actually kind of funny that the animatronics managed to kill that many people because they're very slow. And so I do believe we could just lock them in somewhere pretty easily like we do 173. 173 is harder to contain. Yes, you wanted to be here. Maybe you want a little treat from the chat? Is that what you want? Little baby wants attention. This is what we expect. Yes, little girl. Desk, what the fuck? Since when was there racist pasta? That sounds ridiculous. Oh, 953. Oh, 953. We are going to have a little chat. You just activated my trap card. Okay, let's go to the SCP database. And let's go to SCP 41D3N73-J. Hey, I typed it right on the first try for once. This article is so short that I'm just going to read it because I like reading it. SCP-41-D3N73-J. Object class, worst. Special containment procedures. I don't know. Seriously, just whatever. They're in a room. They're not hurting anyone. I guess if one of them gets sassy, just boil it in water and be done with it. For real. I had them install a stove and sink in the room just for that, because there's no oversight in this department. Also, you're not supposed to eat them, but if you want to live on the edge, I'm not going to stop you. Description. SCP-41D3N73-J is a shelf of sapient boxes of pasta, all unfortunately capable of speech. There's linguine, capellini, mostacelli, penne, probably spaghetti and angel hair too, I don't know. I got bored of listening to them and gave up checking each box. They all speak English in a frankly offensive and exaggerated Italian accent. It's pretty insulting, especially when you consider my parents were Italian immigrants. Yeah. Thanks for assigning this one to me, knowing that my mom died 4 months ago. Really cool. SCP-41D3N73-J instances are not capable of movement, and mostly spend their time arguing with each other in their Looney Tunes-esque vernacular, which usually lacks any semblance of sense, continuity, or just general logic. I did some science, and the result is that SCP-41D3N73-J is the dumbest goddamn thing we've ever contained. See the interview below. Tried to make the language as accurate as possible so the insensitivity really shines through. Interview 41D3 whatever. Interviewer, Dr. Fattore. Interviewee, SCP-41D3N73-J, a single box of rigatoni. Hello, I am Dr. Fattore. May I ask you a few questions? Oh my goodness! Of course you may! Jesus. Okay, yeah, what is your earliest memory? Let me think about that one. I think it was when my mama made me a big old spicy meatball. Or maybe it was when my papa first brought me to church. I was a very young boy, and I had just turned 3 years old, and hadn't eaten my first cannoli. Okay, Okay, so I'm just going to rephrase the question a bit. Sounds good. Stop. Just stop. Stop it. I'm not doing anything. Why do you choose to be this way? What do you mean? Do you have free will? I don't really know. Your accent is dropping. I don't know what are you talking about? Did you care at all when I boiled your neighbor? Do you miss rotini at all? My mama used to make a rotini sometimes. No. The box of rotini that was next to you. The one you used to have conversations with about Venice constantly. The one who wouldn't answer of any of my questions and kept blathering about Mussolini, so I emptied his contents into a pot of boiling water, and now he doesn't seem to talka so gooda anymore. I'm having an existential crisis. I am having a hard time with the notion that I'm ostensibly being paid $78 an hour to have conversations with things like you. I know what you mean. It's like when the pasta no come out al dente. Oh, God damn it! That's why they designated you 41D. Angry Pesci-style mumbling detected. Unbelievable! Some idiot probably thought that was hilarious! This place is run by frickin' even Pescier mumbling detected. Mamma mia! Sound of a box of pasta hitting a concrete wall detected. The Pesciest of mumbling can be faintly heard. Let me just interrupt to say I adore the use of Pesci as an adjective in this article. It makes me very happy. Addendum 1. So, I know I shouldn't be writing anything here or touching anything, but one of the boxes of pasta fell on the floor and was screaming in broken Italian, and Dr. Fattori wasn't in his office, just a crude dummy he put together to make it look like he was asleep at his laptop. So I put the pasta box back on the shelf, and it's just whimpering now about the trains running on time. Please don't fire me. Signed, Artie from Southeast Custodial Professionals. So, welcome to SCP Al Dente-J 953, otherwise known as the Racist Pasta. Okay, thank you for sending a happy poop to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure it will cheer them up or something. So, oh God, there's so many things going on right here. Hold on, I'm gonna try and answer all this at once so I don't get lost. Okay, number 1, Ratty Woman. What are your thoughts on unconventional SCP origins like A Matter of Perception for 096, in which it's, quote, she's, an anomalous trans woman whose dysphoria got out of hand, or Jif Kinney 682? Well, I don't know what Jif Kinney 682 is, and I don't know what this A Matter of Perception is. I've never heard of this before. But while I look it up, let me just state, here we go. My first instinct is for me, any interpretation of the art is a fun mental game to play and valid. And so while certain things don't agree with evidence on site, you can still have fun with them. It's like when people ask if the Winchester boys were bisexual or something. It's like, hell yeah, why not? I don't know. At least that's what Jared said, I believe. Or Dipper Pines being trans. And Alex Hirsch saying, yeah, if that's your interpretation, then that's great, and I'm glad you vibed with it. Furthermore, wow, you don't see a lot of tales at a plus 100, so this, a matter of perception tale about Shy Guy is performing pretty well. It's a little longer than I'd like to read through right now, but as I said, probably super chill. Okay, second. For those of you wondering about that voice at the end of that log. So, I have it on my voice actor's mental catalog that Scruffy from Futurama, but a little bit more southern, is the janitor voice I use for Artie at the end of that article. Clef is still southern, but there's a little more of a musicality to Clef's voice. There's a little bit more of a sadistic pleasure, whereas Scruffy is just here to work. Artie from Southeast Cleanliness Professionals is just trying not to get fired. So I hear what you're saying, and yes, I can understand. It's the subtleties. It's the subtleties. Chat was also freaking out about the Mjolnir that makes you super racist. No. The Mjolnir does not make you racist. It is a Mjolnir that gives racist Thor superpowers. It doesn't make you racist. It gives you superpowers if you're racist. But then, of course, you're not invulnerable, and then we send you to die. And we're fine with it because you're racist. Which one is that again? Just so I have it in my head as a very funny weapon to bring up from time to time. SCP, racist. I don't remember how to spell Mjolnir. Mjolnir. 8814. How can I forget that number? How can I forget that the racist Mjolnir is literally 88 for Heil Hitler and the 14 words? Of course that's its number. Of course that's its number. Also remember, it is just a modern claw hammer from a hardware store. Intern Henry. Joking about being racist in this chat is a pretty bold move. We get enough racists in here through the algorithm. You might want to take that back if it's not true, because the desk might just ban you on principle because we're trying to keep the Nazis out of the bar. This is one of those say psych immediately moments. Sorry, I was joking. Cool. I didn't want you to get inadvertently desked because desk didn't catch the humor. It's hard to tell jokes in text. So careful. Careful with those kind of jokes. Noroko Super. Completely new to SCP content, and after finding out about the Living Orange Gak, Affectionate, and then the racist Mjolnir. Noroko Super, there's so many off-the-wall SCPs. I've been in the fandom for over 13 to 15 years, and every day's a surprise. Each new article crazy. Lone Claw. Sorry, Dr. Lovelace. Your user handle is funny to say in the Dark Helmet voice. Lone Claw. Thank you for donating again to say. I know it would be a big ask, but goddamn, it would make my day if you ever chose to VA a snippet of one of the 9471 transcripts at some point. Well, I mean, one of them. Not doing the whole thing, but let me take a look at it real quick. 9471. Ba-da-da-da. So is one of these in particular... As I haven't read the article, I don't know which ones would be fun. Lovelace. What do you think of this one from the second page? Is this a good one? What would be emotional or interesting to hear me read? Because there's this one, and then I know I saw a log back in the initial document. So is one of these more fun than the other? What would have some good lines and emotional moments or jokes? Lovelace, I'm leaving this in your hands. Oh, is that the one Desk read? Dr. Frogman, I believe Desk did read this one. Dr. Lovelace, you say the Werther's one. I'm going to search for the word Werther's. This is a Werther's original chewy caramel toffee came up. So I'm assuming that's the one you mean. And so this is the one that starts with Dr. Lovelace saying, and as you see in this chart, the current level of mimetic erosion is well below acceptable limits. If that's okay, cool. All right. This is a cold reading, so pardon if I get anything wrong. But I'm just taking a quick run through to see who's talking. We have Overseer Conclave, so we have a bunch of overseers. And then we have Technarch and Venerable Director Vera Lovelace. So 051 is speaking, 056 is speaking, 0513 is speaking, 5212, oh god, you've got every overseer here. All right, so you are getting a rundown into the process. So first I need to list every overseer if I'm going to keep their voices straight. So let's go with Docs. So this is not a cold reading because there's too many characters for a cold reading. Ow, don't blind me. I just wanted to open Google Docs. I didn't deserve that. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Those are the overseers we have here. Desk, I don't know how you would hop in as we are currently streaming. Because I'm already live, I don't know that I can invite you as a guest to stream. But it's not a worry. That'll take longer than me doing what I'm doing here. And what I'm doing here would be beneficial for those of you in the chat who might be wanting to do voiceover in the future yourself. You can get a look at my process. I know some of you are considering voiceover for some things or another. And so, while I would cold read a one-on-one conversation and do okay, this could use a little more work, which is why I'm pulling up a doc. So, Lovelace, what I want you to do is, since you know the characters, and since you happen to be here, I'm going to use my resources. So, the characters in this document. Nope, you know what? Never mind. I'm not taking your input. I'm not taking your input. Because this is what I would have to do if I were not working with the SCP author here. And so if I have to do it live, I'm going to do it my way. And we will see what my interpretation is. By the way, do not worry, chat. The other donations will be gotten in time. We're just on a tear here. I will never miss a donation unless you somehow do it right at the end of stream as I'm pressing the cancellation button. But okay, let's see who our overseers are. Overseer 1. You are going to be a no-nonsense straight man of the conversation. No nonsense. Overseer 2 seems to be a little more caring. A little nicer. Overseer 3, a little more incredulous. No, not quite. And that's the end of the log. Okay. Wait, that's not the right log. Cool. Boom. Continuing. Is 3 featured here? What? And so I check all of their lines. I see what they say at a glance, and then I pick a personality for them. 3 only has 1 line here, and it's what? So I was right for incredulous. Easy peasy. Incredulous. Now, I'm not going to go back and forth to this doc every time I voice, which means I'm just putting these personalities in my head by writing them down. 054 does not feature here, I don't think. I don't see 054. Next up is 055. Do I see an 055? Calling 055. 055, are you here? 055. 055 is present. I'm gonna go with... Got 1 line. Little scared. 056. I don't think I've seen an 056. I don't think 056 is present. 056, you are not in this conversation, I do not think. 056, calling 056. Oh, there's 054. Honestly, these people don't seem to have... They all have 1 line each. All right. The overseers are different in the second transcript compared to the first one. Yeah, I can tell. All right. And then we've only got 0513 and 12 down there. But it looks like 6, 7, 8, 9 aren't really making a... There's 7 up to 13. Okay. So, let's do our best with what we got here. And let me start the song over so the background vocal is consistent for 10. Continuum. 97. That's too many numbers. I would have to look those up. Parties present for this Ion Project Micronial Review. Overseer Conclave, Technarch and Venerable Director Vera Lovelace. Forward. The Overseer Conclave convenes with Director Lovelace for the Micronial Review of the Ion Project. Begin transcript. The 13 members of the Conclave and Director Lovelace are seated in the main chamber of the Overwatch Nexus. And as you can see in this chart, the correct level of memetic erosion is well below acceptable limits, and by current estimates, our socioplex still has some good 8 quintillion years left in it before it will begin to develop more advanced symptoms of SCP-9471. Very good, Director. And tell us, how goes your research? Oh, I'm making some great strides with SCP. That's too many digits for an SCP. I do not like that your universe has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-digit SCP designations. That's too many resources. It's a bit finicky, but I'm confident that it would be possible to repurpose it and utilize it as a... No, Director. I'm referring to your other research. You're gonna have to be a little more specific than that. I have a lot of stuff I'm working on right now. What I'm referring to is redacted, redacted, redacted. That's a pretty clear violation of the 9471 Conprox. Director Lovelace looks at the other members of the conclave. You guys cool with that? They are, and we are in complete agreement over what needs to be done. A bright green beam is emitted from above Dr. Lovelace, the light washing over and encompassing her. Director Lovelace looks up. Oh, you're doing this. There's no escape for you now, abomination. Well, that's rude. 051 gets up and walks over to Director Lovelace. You see, Director, we all know about your little secret. What you've done to countless continua and are planning to do to ours. Again, you're going to have to be more specific than that. Cut the crap, you fucking traitor. We know all about Procedure Ion 980. We know that your so-called salvation is nothing but omnicide. So that's what this is about. Look, guys, I know this looks really bad, but trust me, Ion 980 is a mercy compared to the alternative. Well then, allow us to visit this mercy upon you. 051 smirks at Director Lovelace, who stares back blankly. 051 expression slowly grows more concerned as Director Lovelace continues to stare at them. Why is nothing happening? 12, you assured us this would work. Why isn't she dead? Oh, so that's what you're trying to do. It should be working. After all, she's caught in the Zerathon Nar field. Actually, I'm not. I just didn't bother to move. Good on you for developing this 5,000 years early, though. What? 056 sends a telepathic alert to Mobile Task Force Lear 1, codename Crimson Tendrils of Righteous Vengeance. Mobile Task Force Lear 1 storm into the chamber, tracking their weapons on Director Lovelace. She turns to face them. Hey guys, could you give us some privacy? Me and the Conclave here are going to have a pretty serious discussion. In fact, why don't you take the rest of the day off? It looks like you could use it. Mobile Task Force Lear lower their weapons and then leave. How? Memetic, silly. That shouldn't be possible. Their conditioning and augmentation should shield them from any kind of memetic manipulation. Maybe from a memeticist from your continuum, but my mind contains the eclectic knowledge of more Foundation continua than there are stars in the observable universe. So whatever barriers or weapons you have are trivial against me. So that's why you're hoarding it. It's not enough that you kill us, but you steal all our hard-earned knowledge and then use it against our successors? I'm not stealing or hoarding it. I'm keeping it safe. You think we'll believe that? Guys, we just went over my projections for memetic erosion. You know I have to keep it away from you. And how do we know this is not another lie? How do we know anything in the SCP-9471 file is true? Fine. You guys want to know what SCP-9471 is? What it really is? You'll actually tell us? Of course she won't. She has done nothing but lie to us this whole time. There's no reason to believe her now. Oh, there is one reason. Which is? You won't be able to tell a soul once I'm done with you. Is that a threat? Yeah, sure. Now why don't you all shut up and sit back down? The overseers return to their seats against their own volition. Awesome. Director Lovelace holds up her hand, and with a puff of black smoke, a piece of toffee appears between her fingers. This is a Werther's Original Chewy Caramel Toffee, my favorite candy. It has this rich, buttery caramel flavor, which, when combined with its soft and chewy texture, is simply exquisite. I've eaten more of these over the years than there are atoms in this universe, and every single one has been every bit as delicious as the first. Director Lovelace eats the toffee. So good. Very Harry or Osborne of you there. But for you, this same toffee might be enjoyable at first, but would grow dull over time. Eventually, you'd come to hate it. And if you were forced to eat it as often as I do, it would become pure torture. You see, that is what SCP-9471 is. The inability to perceive and experience the universe for what it is. Director Lovelace turns to the window and gestures to the starscape outside. I mean, look at this! Look at this vast, immense beauty! Filled to the brim with experiences, offering infinite fulfillment and meaning. Dr. Lovelace turns back to the overseers. But you can't see it. To you, that beauty is fleeting. You can't even glimpse it, because in viewing it as fleeting, you diminish it. Instead of enjoying things for what they are, you ruin them for yourselves. Not intentionally, of course. It's just the way your minds work. But you ruin them. Your happiest moments become sad, even painful, whereas mildly unpleasant experiences accumulate until you expect nothing but the worst to happen to you. You carry burdens that you're unable to let go of, and that slowly weigh you down. And over time, your hearts break, and your minds warp, until nothing matters to you anymore. Director Lovelace holds out her hand, a skull of Homo sapiens appearing in it with a puff of black smoke. And yet your fear of oblivion makes you cling on to life, forcing you to wallow in misery for eons until you either commit suicide or sacrifice more and more parts of yourself to dull the pain until nothing remains. The skull disintegrates. Had this just been tied to your memories, it would have been trivial to manage it via amnesticization. But this thing wears down your very souls. And so I developed procedure Ion 119 and Ion 980, not out of malevolence, but as a mercy, to bring things to an end once you're no longer capable of experiencing joy or meaning, to maximize individual and cultural fulfillment while minimizing suffering. Director Lovelace regards all members of the Conclave. I know you guys want to live on forever, as did your predecessors, but that's simply not possible due to the nature of what you are. All I can offer you is a cycle where the concepts you represent live on, not you. That is simply the price of eternity. With a puff of black smoke, another toffee appears between Director Lovelace's fingers. She eats it. Any questions? You fucking hypocrite. You have some nerve lecturing us on the finite nature of our existence when you are everlasting. I mean, who else will? But why are you able to last forever? What is it that makes you immune to 9471? Immutability. See, unlike me, you guys are super malleable and ever-changing. It's a thing that allows you to build and maintain all these wonderfully complex social systems, but it also makes you vulnerable to 9471. My kind, on the other hand, are only malleable at the beginning of our life cycle. Then our personality and our equivalent of the soul calcify, eventually becoming entirely static. While this makes us significantly less flexible than you, it also allows someone like me to lead the Ion Project and uphold its directive, regardless of how much time passes. But why perpetuate such a meaningless cycle when all it does is replay history ad infinitum? Are you really that desperate for power and control? You guys are so silly. Despite everything I've told you, you still assume I'm like you. No, all I want is to enjoy life. You know, good food and drink, doing science, and good company. Most of that requires a socioplex, hence the cycle. So what? You're doing this just for fun? Just because you can? Pretty much, yeah. Don't get me wrong, having to end things is a bummer, but it's necessary. Director Lovelace looks around at the overseers. Any other questions? Just how do you plan on silencing us? Well, normally I'd go for amnesticization, but since all of you knowingly violated containment, I'm going to have to send a message to your successors. You think you can kill us? We have death itself on our side. Yeah, probably God in anime too. I don't need to kill you, silly. I just need to destroy your minds. You know, the interesting thing about your flexibility is it can be used against you. Here, let me show you. End transcript. Afterward, following the meeting, all members of the Overseer Conclave were found unconscious and unresponsive. As a medical examination revealed that their brain matter had been partially dissolved and was riddled with teratomas, their souls were transferred into new vessels in accordance with the Ardoth Protocol. Regrettably, the vessels quickly succumbed to the same condition. The Overseers were subsequently replaced. Huh. All right. So I have some thoughts. Obviously, I haven't read the whole article. So I'm doing, I can only judge by what I am seeing here on the screen and what I know from this small excerpt. First of all, wow, you really went that Q route. Immutable concept, character. And knowing what I know about future documentation, at least from what I've glimpsed, it's a bit of a resetting the very... You know, I had a 2-year-long D&D campaign for a while, and obviously you're meeting weekly, you go through a lot of storylines, and at one point I ended up sending my crew to hell because there are demons in the universe, and there's angels. And eventually the angel told them that reality had to be reset for blah, blah, blah reasons. And one of my players looked me dead in the face and said, "Did you just write the Matrix 2 into your lore?" And I looked at that player for a moment and I said, "Oh God, I've accidentally written my game into the Matrix 2. No." Eventually we retconned that to be that the angel that was telling him that was mentally broken, and that was completely retconned because I did not mean to write the Matrix 2 into my D&D game. That was silly. I'm not saying universal rewrites like that are bad writing. I'm just saying the Matrix 2 already did that quite blatantly. And so while I'm not saying this is bad for your story, I am saying there's a part in my heart that cringes at that plot point because of that moment, and I can't get rid of it. And so while I was reading, I'm like, oh no, I've been here before. Oh no, this is not about you. This is about my personal pain and suffering. Also, I gotta tell ya, wow, immutable concept character, all powerful, snarking at the overseers, is a mallow. You have written one hell. At least from this excerpt, you have written one hell of the most Mary Sue self-insert SCP character that I have seen on the wiki in a long time. And you got it to stay on the database. Brava! Immortal, immutable, mallow, researcher, more powerful than the overseers. And you got it to stick. The rest of this article has to be fire to pull that off, doesn't it? 'Cause wow. You are the problem. You are what all the anti-wokes yell at us about. I am marvelously impressed at your moxie. That's so funny. That's so funny. To be fair, 9471 represents the end of her story. Fair. No, I still need to read it. Every time I say I need to read something, I then go and do a bunch of work. And then I get lost and I forget to read the things. Because, oh geez. But again, proof of the concept. Proof of the concept. Even what sounds like a worst idea can work if you write it well. It's all about execution. The execution. It's called sticking the landing, people. All right. That took a hot minute. Technically, I should be ending stream, but I know there's still some donations because that took 15-ish minutes. So I'm going to go back to the chat. I'm going to get through the donations that are still open. We'll do a little more Q&A, and then we will roll through. King of ADHD, thank you for your 1 year as a level 1 researcher here at Site42. We appreciate your membership and your service. And hey, you hold out for 1 more year, you'll have been here for the entirety of our 1 year daily stream streak. So right here, along with you. Fields, thank you for your 11 months as a level 1 researcher. I don't know what your anniversary of membership is, but it's going to be close to our 1 year anniversary. So same to you. And you said if Monoculus saw 096, would it attack Demo Man? Signed TF2, or from TF2. I don't know what a Monoculus is, because I don't know TF2. So I'm going to have to look at that and see what it do. First, I'm going to delete that document that I had there for voices. No. Monoculus TF2. Monoculus is a boss and new non-player character. Introduced on Ioduct, it has such been featured in other maps. It is Red Demoman's missing eye, haunted and grown to monster size by the Bombinomicon. Summoned by Marasmus, so the Red Soldier broke his staff. The comic is depicted as a large brown floating eye that fires purple rocket eyeballs. Well, I only have one question for you. And is Monoculus... can Demo Man see what Monoculus perceives? From what I'm seeing here, it looks like Monoculus is its own entity that is separate from the Demo Man. Which means... if the Demo Man cannot perceive what Monoculus perceives, then Demo Man is safe. But Monoculus is not safe. Easy question. Batted away. Home run. Intern Yukio, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a corn dog on your way past the commissary. Your favorite SCP-953 has arrived to bless your night. First of all, 953 is not among my favorite SCPs, so thank you. Secondly, I'm sorry, I have to beg to differ. Kitsunes are not 953. 953 is a Kumiho, and gets real mad if you refer to it as a Kitsune. So, your name is worrying me. Now, of course, there is 953 Reclassified, who has been in chat the entire time, and I have not been told that they are actually a Kitsune and not a Kumiho, so we are still in line with that one at least. SCP-4028, otherwise known as Don Quixote. I do not care how often you show me thine lance. I do not want to see it. Go fuck with your windmills or something. Dr. Lovelace, thank you for donating again to say, big props for doing a live reading of the entire transcript. Totally made my day. Sincerely, thank you. Well, hey, thank you for turning me on to it, and hell, bringing another interesting piece of lore to the SCP universe, that's for sure. Intern Crawford, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a bacon cheese dog on your way past the commissary. Bacon cheese dog, bacon cheese dog. Taking bacon and I put it in a cheese dog. What would happen if SCP-053 interacted with SCP-999? Well, SCP-053 causes humans to want to kill it. I do not remember if 053 causes non-humans to want to kill it. So let's take a look. The young girl is only having that effect with humans. So, animals, therefore, do not have the same effect. So 999 would not be affected. High-Tech Priest, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a gear dog on your way past the commissary. Greetings once again, friend. My question is thus. I forget which SCP, but there is an SCP that transforms biological matter into mechanical structure. We would be very interested to hear your thoughts. That one you are talking about is codename the Clockwork Virus. And that on the database would be Anomaly 217. SCP-217, the Clockwork Virus. Obviously, we need to keep it contained because turning a virus that turns humans into machines is not very normal. And in our mission to keep normalcy, we'd prefer that wasn't out there. Intern Mariel Yandigan. Mariel Yandigan. Thank you for sending a good game to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am certain they played a very good game. And I think some Ko-Fi notifications in. I better get those before I forget them. Amber, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Thank you for making the effort to go to the Ko-Fi. As we well know, the Ko-Fi only takes 3% of your donations and fees, whereas YouTube Super Chat takes 30%. So especially on larger donations, we really appreciate you making the effort to go to the Ko-Fi. Random, I just had an image of you as James Bond bad guy Blofeld, but instead of a white cat, it's Charlie. Charlie! 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 Might be on a walk with Agent Goose. Oh well. Were Charlie here, I would be making a Mr. Bigglesworth joke from Austin Powers. Agent Zenith, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Thank you for making the effort to go to the Ko-Fi. What if I am secretly an eldritch horror design? Oh, and don't forget your get yourself one of those hot dogs, but the hot dog meat is actually burger meat. So a burger dog on your way past the commissary. What if I'm secretly an eldritch horror disguised as an agent in Site-42? This would not be shocking to me. Ah, thank you, Agent Goose. Yes. When my plans do not happen as I planned them, Mr. Bigglesworth gets upset. And when Mr. Bigglesworth gets upset, people die. Yes. Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie. You've been at Site 42 for Almost 4 months? Yes, 4 months. Yesterday, actually. You.
No.
1, 2, 3. 3 months. Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie. You've been at Site 42 for 3 months. And if anything happened, I would go to the on-site nuclear warhead and I would blow it up. Blow up the whole site if something happened to you. Good baby. I don't have any more treats. I am treatless.
Oh, dear Lord. And I moved him because Charlemagne was being a pain.
I found a crumb of snack. Charlie, I found a crumb of snack. Little crumb of snack. There you go.
Very pleased.
There we go.
Good girl.
Can Charlie make the tree scream? Her training has already begun. Yes. Researcher Wispbug. Researcher Wispbug, thank you for... Oh, wait a minute. Researcher Wispbug, I will thank you in a second. But let's see if she will perform a demonstration of her training really quick. Puppy of Interest 42. Get it. Get it. That tree will scream. That tree will scream. Do it. Make it scream. You got this, sweetie pumpkin. Make that bad old tree scream. So yes, as you can see, training is going quite well. Wispbug, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself one of those hot dogs, but where the hot dog is a fish stick. So you're getting a fish fillet hot dog on your way past the commissary, a fish dog. Question, what would happen if a homicidal psychopath, someone who already wants to kill everyone they meet, who is capable of masking, met 053? Well, 053 makes every human want to kill it. So it doesn't matter if they're already a murderer or not, they will still want to kill it. It makes people want to kill it. If they are human, they will want to kill it. Intern Torres, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some of those little gummy candies that are hot dogs. So you can take the hot dog out of the bun to eat that, and then there's the bun gummy as well. Legendary reference and cosplay update. I've gotten the business cards and I'm getting a Foundation ID. Anyone going to the con in Kazoo can expect to see me in full security guard kit. Make it happen. Represent the Foundation. Secure, contain, and protect on the road. Remember, Tampa, Florida. Last weekend in July going into August, I will be at MetroCon 2026 in Tampa, Florida. I will run the panel I ran last year that you can see here because we filmed it, or we streamed it. And I'm working on some other plans. So if you want to see me in person and can make it to Tampa, Florida, opportunity is on the table. I think Dr. Sherman likes hot dogs. Well, I do enjoy me a hotted dog. But today it's just the theme of the commissary gifts. Get in line now for your flight. Oh, yeah, I know. No, the airlines are terrible right now. The security lines, the fuel prices, everything's terrible on that. I am begging it. We got 4 months. Please calm the F down. What state are you in? Site 42 is located in California, so it's a bit of a trek. Is there basically an SCP for everything? Well, intern Gams, there is a, being that there's just over 10,000 SCPs, I would say there's an SCP for 10,000 things. Don't know about everything, but 10,000 things, yes. All right, Site 42 staff. We are currently, I am marking it 14 minutes from the end of stream. 14 minutes from the end of stream. How do I keep managing to find these lives? Well, Bill Cipher, perhaps you have a deep, traumatic backstory that includes you wanting to be contained for your own emotional well-being. You adorable little triangle. I joined so late, I wish I could have made it earlier. Well, hey, you got a long VOD to check out. But anyway, Dr. Sherman, has one of the fans ever spotted you in public before? What was that like? So, not counting the convention, which obviously if you're at a convention, you expect to find like-minded people. So when I go to MetroCon nowadays, it's the home convention I used to work at my hometown, so I make a point to go back and see everybody. I think last year, 80-something people showed up for the SCP panel. But even the year before that, 60-something people recognized me at the convention from YouTube and TikTok. So that's pretty cool for a convention. But the only 2 times it's happened outside of a convention, one time at my literal job, my day job, an SCP author came by and recognized my name on a billboard and looked in and saw me. And so an SCP author was in town for a book convention, a science fiction book convention. And they happened to go buy pizza, and they saw my sign out front, and they came in. Dr. Frogman. This would be an author known as Hylius. Hylius was in town. They did some work for the Backrooms Wiki as well. But I went over to their the hotel where their convention was at and had a beer with them after work because I was surprised that they were there. And then at the Iron Lung movie, when I went to go see Iron Lung, as the movie theater was clearing out, someone recognized the SCP logo on that gray SCP hoodie that I got for Christmas. And the person who saw the logo complimented the SCP logo, and their friend recognized me after their friend pointed out the logo. And so I found a Site 42 knower at Iron Lung, which in a Markiplier movie, you can expect some SCP fans. So that is not unlikely. How hard was it taming SCP-096? It's not tame. Well, in our universe, it's not tame. It is, I mean, most universes it isn't. But in some rare universes, there's a book called Overcoming Shyness, held by the denizens of the Tenda village. And if you can get that Overcoming Shyness book to 096, then it chills out. Then it becomes a TikTok dance star, and that's kind of annoying, but at least it's not murder. How many Jesuses are there? Intern Jonah, there are 6 Jesuses in containment, and that's not counting the, I think it's 31 dead skeletons of bird Jesus. Site 42 staff, remember, we have moderators. They have blue names. If they're talking, you should look because they might be telling you you broke a rule. And if you don't want to get banned, you should ignore the moderators. Don't forget Dr. Light. Yes, Dr. Light is Jesus Christ, but is not in containment, so I don't count her. 50 rubber Jesuses. Yes, the toy Jesus. I don't count those either, even though they think they're Jesus. Ion and Bomaro, they are just religious figures. They're not Jesus. And the Jesus tumor. I don't remember that one. Eight minutes left on stream, fam. Get your last questions in. What SCP is the blacksmith one making weapons for a doomsday scenario? Can someone help? Huh. An SCP blacksmith, weapons for a doomsday scenario. Intern Brooks, I don't actually know about this one off the top of my head. Chat, do you have any idea what Intern Brooks is talking about? DJ knew what SCP that was. DJ knew what that was. Intern Brooks, you are looking for SCP-5577, a sentient humanoid skeleton, believed to be between 8,000 and 5,000 years old, and never observed to cease any activity for any reason, except in the case of injury. It works in its blacksmith shop, and it seems to be making weapons. So 5577, DJ, spot on, good work. Meanwhile, Dr. Frogman, hold on, before I get to Dr. Frogman pointing that out, let me say, Terragal, how should I share my SCP with people on the Site 42 Discord? Is there a channel that I should specifically use? In the Site 42 Discord server, if you are sharing your SCP as to get writing help, then in the general chat set, there's a writing help channel to get critique. So you can post your in-progress SCP there to get critique on it. If you are sharing a completed SCP, Terragal, you can share it in the self-promo section. Reminder, that's, yes, Site 42 does have a Discord server. It is a chill little cafe to talk about SCP as well as other Site 42 community business. You must be 18 or over to join. And to join, you can either become a patron Patreon patrons get an instant link, I believe. Or you can go on the Easter egg hunt. The Easter egg hunt has a clue at the end of every stream to tell you where the link is, because we're going to make you work for it. And since end of stream is in 4.5 minutes, you'll get that clue soon. Also, the Jesus list were exceptions to the SCP Jesus list. Yes, I do know we've talked about these before. 5676, Dr. Frogman says, is the heart tumor in the shape of Jesus Christ. It is a cardiac tumor on a 23-year-old Caucasian American female with no prior recorded medical issues. So yes, 5676 is heart tumor Jesus. Intern Jensen, you say Shy Guy is chasing you? I'm sorry for your loss of, well, yourself. There's also... No, we're not confirming that for the Site 42 Jesus list desk. It's just a tumor. Secondarily, Dr. Frogman, I know what you mean when you say there's also Colonel Sanders, one of the anomalies that makes people see him when they see Jesus, as in if you eat this certain KFC chicken meal, then it makes all depictions of Jesus local to you into Colonel Sanders. So if you're at church and you see a stained glass window of Jesus, it's a stained glass window of Colonel Sanders. That's not really a Jesus, that's Colonel Sanders replacing Jesus. But also, why did you type colon Sanders? Of all the typos in the world, why colon Sanders? Why is it butthole chicken? That is my question. You got to be really careful with those typos, people. You got to be really careful with those typos. I stepped away for a minute and I think I missed something important. 100 stars, I do not think that butthole fried chicken is important. I don't think you missed anything important. I don't know how to spell Colonel. And I don't know why it's spelled like that. It doesn't make sense. Which SCP is the Tupac album? That is 2137. SCP-2137 is the forensic ghost of Tupac Shakur. Is Christianity the real religion because of Cain? Intern Jonah, the Cain and Abel in the SCP universe are not actually the Cain and Abel of the Bible. It's not the biblical text in that name. Intern Baddies, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. They kinda are. I really thought they were like separated by something. Am I just talking out my fried chicken hole? I think they got looped into the Bible later. I don't think they started as being literally the Bible. I think it got painted that way, or was it the other way around? It's also so hard because so many YouTube videos liken them to the biblical versions that I don't know if it's just like the SCP-096 Origins we looked at, if the content farms haven't made it so that people believe this when it's not. I really need to look into this. I'm gonna reserve judgment on Cain and Abel and their biblical membership, so to speak. Frogman says Project Paragon hasn't been canonable from the Bible. Okay, Paragon says so. That's at least one canon. Desk is confirming they are. Now I really need to think of why I thought they weren't. There's too many SCPs, man. There's too many cannons. Not enough pirate ships for all these cannons. Not enough pirate-themed SCPs, by the way. But suffice it to say, that's a story for another day because we are now at the end of stream, everyone. And as we do at the end of stream, I always tell you guys my favorite SCPs. It's a bit of a tradition around these parts. But I'm not going to tell you that my favorite SCPs are the ones I personally wrote. That would be sheer narcissism, complete cheating move. And I wouldn't do that. But if you want to read the SCPs I personally wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can read the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And while you're on my author page, one tab over from those SCPs, you'll see a list of links. Links that a lot of people are very interested in finding, but then they just don't have the wherewithal to find them, which is so sad for them. But not you guys, because you, as members of the Containment Hazard Assessment Team, are mighty. And you will find those links. I know it. And while you are there at the links, you can do a Patreon patron or YouTube channel membership to donate to us monthly. You can do Ko-Fis or YouTube Super Chats to donate to us one at a time. Either way, direct donations are the quickest way to keep the lights on for myself and the rest of the Site42 staff, so we greatly appreciate your generosity in helping us to do our work. Meanwhile, if you're part of the Broke Gang and you can't donate, do not fret. We need the Broke Gang people as members of Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. When you are liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, chatting, not just for us on our videos and streams and such, but on the videos and streams and such of the SCP Wiki's authors and artists, the game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, podcasters, animators, game devs, filmmakers, anything. You are helping us to build their steam in the algorithm. You will help them to get more viewers, and the logical, statistical certainty is that the more viewers they get, the more people might donate to them. And so that's how we build bigger SCP games and films and the like. So we thank you, Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codenamed Signal Boosters, for your service. Can I get promoted? Intern Jonah, promotions to Green Name are either given away by people who donate memberships to the chat, or you can get a membership yourself if you want a promotion. You can get a promotion to a level 1 researcher, a Mobile Task Force captain, or an overseer, or you might get lucky for a gifted membership. So, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one, it's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 8980. Content warning on the last one, it's a rough read. Creepypasta George Harrison, thank you for becoming a Mobile Task Force Captain here at Site42. We appreciate your newly minted membership and your service. Welcome to the promotion zone. Now, Site42 staff, this has been another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the Anomalous broadcast from Site42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. It's peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Where you at, where you at, where you at, where you at? There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly. To the peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat now. Peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat now. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Peanut butter jelly, 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 baseball bat, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, baseball bat. The credit song is Peanut Butter Jelly Time by the Buckwheat Boys, with some adaptations, of course. Be safe, be well, Site 42 staff, and as always, secure, contain, protect.